happening, and I want to add some levity to the situation going on in crypto right now. We're going to talk about the PMI hitting 56.2 and what that potentially means. You can win a free website. This is still ongoing until Valentine's Day. We've got 11 days at 11 hours. It's 11:11. Maybe that should be the new 6/7. My daughter has me doing that. I think it's fading now, so it's okay. How am I feeling? I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling fine. Honestly, I think that everything that I've been going through in terms of like the price of crypto and everything that's happening, I've kind of written everything off, and I'm trying to just focus on other things, building websites, just going back to just the business as usual before crypto, and really just kind of forget about a lot of it, because I think this year is still going to be absolutely ridiculous. And I do think that's going to be in a very good way, but I think that it's going to take some time. And I think that there's a lot of manipulation going on. I think it's a lot to do with the institutions and everything happening. And we're going to cover a lot of that stuff. But if you're a small business, before I dive into a lot of that, if you are a small business and you have like an old WordPress website, it doesn't really rank very well. It doesn't have the functionality you really wish you need, and you don't have 20 grand to go spend on one. You got two options. Either one, you can hire me to rebuild it, and I'll make a badass website, better than any website you've ever seen, for your business, or you could try to win one, and maybe one would become the other. We'll see. But if you go to the link down in the description below and fill out this SEO audit, it's a free SEO audit. The initial audits that we're running weren't complete. Just so you know, I had to go and fix that because I have two on this site. My main one spits out a report, gives you all kinds of stuff. And I realized a lot of people were doing this over and over again. And I'm seeing it on the back end, and I'm like, why are they doing that? And I realized it's because it wasn't pumping out the report for them. So that's been fixed. Now you get a full report, an SEO audit, as you should. I didn't realize this was being built differently than the original main one on the website for people. So, but now that works. Sorry about that. But I thought people were trying to spam the system. Like, oh, I'm going to get in here 15 times and win me a website. I deleted all those, just so you know. I only left one just in case it was just because of the error. But if somebody, entered 14 times, I deleted 13 of them. I'm not going to allow any more than one person. This is going to be fair. But what's also going to happen is at some point, it doesn't really make sense for me to reach out to everybody like, hey, I can help you build a website, because everybody wants to win one. So I need to figure out a way I may wait until the drawing is over on Valentine's Day, announce the winner, announce their old site, and then I'll show you what their new site's going to be in another video. And then maybe if the person wants, maybe I'll bring them on live for a little bit to talk about their new website and the experience and all of that. And that'll be a really cool thing to do. But anyway, so we are going to be talking about a lot of different things. I guess first we're going to talk about a little bit of news. I'm not going to cover a ton of news right now, because I want to cover some of the most important things, but I thought this was interesting. New York prosecutors raise alarm over Genius Act on fraud report. 5 New York officials reportedly said Tether and Circle had been incentivized to not work with law enforcement, allowing them to profit off crimes involving stablecoins. Very interesting. Several New York district attorneys have reportedly warned about the U.S. federal stablecoin law, the Genius Act, claiming it fails to adequately address fraud. I thought, honestly, that this was a big part of what the market infrastructure bill was supposed to do. I'm seeing chat. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to have to, I'll get back to that, because there's something happening that's kind of funny. According to Monday's CNN report, okay, and now anytime I see this, I always have to wonder nowadays if this is a left slant or a right slant, because there's no such thing as news anymore. It's all propaganda for one side or the other, and it really does make me sick. It really does, because I hate having to decode everything that I read. Like, is this the left going after people because they have something to do? Like, obviously with Brian Armstrong and Coinbase, like I saw something else now. Coinbase was, Jeffrey Epstein was an early investor in Coinbase, right? It's like everybody's using this Jeffrey Epstein shit as a way to go after people politically and try to smear everybody. Generally, when I see that happen, it's the left making up shit to try and like point the finger at somebody else. And it's honestly, it's disgusting. I see the right do it too, so nobody's innocent. But I feel like the left definitely have a playbook for it. It's almost all textbook. And it really does get annoying. But people eat it up, man. People eat it up and they react to it. And then the number of bots that are programmed to respond and make comments and things to kind of egg people on in conversation and debate. I mean, it's a clown world, man. I mean, it really is. The number of bots and stuff is disgusting. So when I read this and the first thing that pops up is CNN, I'm like, okay, this gives me a sense of the direction. I know where we're going already. New York attorney. Oh, and it's Letitia James. Okay, of course. Do I need to even go any deeper? I guess I already know what this is going to say. A bunch of bullshit is what I'm going to assume. But I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. Hey, if there's legitimacy in any of it, then great. But generally, I see CNN and Letitia James in the first line of something, and I'm like, oh my God. All right. So what are they pumping? And 4 district attorneys signed onto a letter saying that the Genius Act will provide legal cover for stablecoin users to potentially participate in fraud. How is what happened with the mortgage thing with Letitia James? Didn't something happen with her that was basically the same thing she was trying to say Trump did or something? I don't even keep track anymore. It's all bullshit and nothing ever comes of it. It's all for headlines. But anyway, the letter reportedly pointed a finger at issuers, Tether and Circle, claiming that the companies have profited off crimes in stablecoin markets, specifically accusing Tether of only freezing some suspicious transactions in USD Tether. Honestly, I feel dirty even reading this now. I read the headline and I didn't dive any deeper, but now I'm here. I already need a shower. The reality for many victims, therefore, is that funds stolen in or converted to USD Tether will never be frozen, seized, or returned. First of all, that's bullshit, because we all know that it's possible. Said the letter, according to CNN. They, Tether, currently decide on a case-by-case basis whether they will assist law enforcement in recovering funds for victims, and nothing prevents them from stopping all reissuance entirely. So I'm not even going to go on reading any more of this because this is just it just looks like a propaganda piece, and I wasn't aware of that. But I will say this. All of this stuff, I know that there's a big war going on between the banks and blockchain and who's doing what and what it should definitely be a level playing field across the board in all angles. In other words, while I believe wholeheartedly, as I'm sure most of you do, the system should empower us as retail investors or retail market or just citizens. We should be able to utilize any application, DeFi, stablecoins, or otherwise to generate as great a yield as possible without it being hindered by a competing franchise system, whatever the case. So banks should not be able to say, oh, well, this whole new blockchain space gives the public the opportunity to generate a 5 or even a 10% yield on their stablecoin holdings, where we're only giving them, like 0.05%. And then on top of that, we're able to loan that money out multiple times over without any reserve whatsoever. Okay. The banks want to continue doing business as usual. They don't want the system to change because it makes them have to really step up their game, change the way they operate out of this house of cards where everybody's constantly afraid of bank runs, which are happening in different countries. These bank runs are happening because people are tired of being manipulated and taken advantage of by the banking cartels that are profiting greatly from them getting nothing. And at the same time, it's putting all of us at risk. So, of course, the world, as we continue to learn and better understand the way blockchain works and decentralized finance and all of this, of course we want this system because it benefits us. The banks don't want that. And we're seeing who the politicians are that are siding with the banks. And in the midst of that, they're pumping out propaganda like this to try and point the finger at everyone else. This is so common. And it's like, I hate to be right or left. I hate to be right versus left. But when I see this playbook happening over and over and over, and then I see the number of people online that buy into the bullshit constantly, and they utilize that to really fuel their dissonance, I cringe. I cringe because I see this stuff even from people I know that I know are smart people, but they are so deeply rooted in the propaganda. They have been truly brainwashed to a degree. And I'm not even just talking about my old friend George. I haven't heard a word from him in years. I'm sure every argument, everything he had ever said to me was disproven, and before we cut each other off, I guess. And I'm sure, I don't know where he's at now or what he's doing. I genuinely liked him. He's a brilliant guy. I mean, he's in the tech field and he's a brilliant guy, super, super smart. But when it comes to, and I know other people that are very smart, but when it comes to stuff like this, they're programmed like the machines they effectively are. I mean, I feel like some of the smartest people are the ones that are most easily programmed to be and think a certain way. And it's sad, but yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not even going to continue going deeper. I am currently and we're going to get to some meat here in a minute. I'm seeing more people come into chat and things. So, but I'm still in my night token trade. I'm hoping we get a reversal to the upside here. I'm down about $630. It's a small trade, small sum, nothing I'm particularly worried about. My liquidation price though is at 3 cents, about 3 cents. So I've got almost 2 cents down. The thing is that midnight token doesn't seem to move insanely fast, and I have to guess that there are market makers at play trying to keep this above a certain price point. So I don't know, I could be wrong, but we're gonna find out. This is the PMI, okay, and this is currently at 52. It's up 52.65, and this is a 3-month candle. All right, this is a 3-month chart of this PMI. What is it? Why do we care? And why is it a big deal? We're going to cover it here in just a minute. I also want to point out SETS token. Those of you guys know, I'm like the VP of tech with this project. This is a real world asset utility token for a resort in Florida. And soon they're going to be launching a metaverse, and you can see people are starting to buy this token because they're starting to use it. And when I've told people before, like, this hasn't really launched yet. And some people are like, how is it not launched? I already bought some. When I say hasn't really launched yet, what I mean is the app that people can download to use the SETS token, the app has been there and you are able to pick up some of the tokens if you want, but there wasn't a significant use for them yet. And that is starting to change because coming February, anyone that's bought the tokens, regardless of what price they bought them at or whatever, I mean, the market dictates the price of the tokens. We have nothing to do with that. But whatever the price of the token is, if somebody bought the tokens, 3 months ago and it was lower and now it's higher, or somebody bought them a couple months ago and now it's lower, whatever the case is, okay, the market dictates its price. But the utility of the token is such that in February, the resort is running a big special to try and onboard more people and to get more people using the token. So they're basically giving a 20% discount to anything that they use the app to pay for in the SETS token. So basically they're buying the tokens and then they're going to get a 20% discount on food, whatever they buy at the resort during this big February Valentine's Day event. So people are starting to ramp up and accumulate those. And the thing of it is there going to be special events on a regular basis to continue driving adoption. I'm trying to educate people more and more. I've been shooting videos and things that are going out to all of the resort socials and the email to try and explain, like, what is it? Why does it matter? Why does it help you? And all of that. And then I've been getting a lot of regular updates on the metaverse that's coming. The metaverse is when things really go nuts because that's going to be an international news story. It's going to be on like 100 different crypto news websites. And that may be a regular thing. And I will say, though, for those of you, like the metaverse is going to be let's just say there are going to be a lot of content creators involved in the metaverse. So this isn't like bring your kids kind of thing. All right. I will say that, but it's definitely going to be popular. So I'm expecting once that is ready to launch, then I can see the SETS tokens being used more and more and more. So it'll be very interesting, but I did put a link down for a Dex Screener. SETS token is built on the Arbitrum network. It was built long before I was a part of it. So for those of you like, why is it not on Cardano? It's because I just came into the picture and I'm just helping with the tech. And I'm helping with, you know, the marketing and planning and managing the development teams and things like that. So, but that it was built before I came into the picture. You know damn well this would already be like a midnight project or something. So anyway, so yeah, keep an eye on that if you're interested. I really don't want speculators. I don't want people that are going to like buy it just to dump it later. I want people that have, and it'll be easier for me to educate everyone on all the uses associated with the token as we move forward. So yeah, I mean, just know that it's something that you're going to pick up and you're going to use it for something. This isn't like I'm going to buy this like Cardano and I'm going to hold it for 50 years and hope the price goes up. That's not what we're doing here. This is an actual a real world use token. All right. Now, the White House calls crypto and banks to the table. The White House will meet with crypto firms and banks at 1 p.m. Eastern today. So here in about a half hour. And this is out of Coin Bureau. Oh, every time I read stuff like this, I get a little shake in my gut. Today to discuss the crypto market structure bill. Talks aim to break a deadlock over how stablecoin yields should be treated. Attendees are expected to include Coinbase, Ripple, Circle, and Wall Street banking groups such as the American Bankers Association. So that's going to happen today, apparently. Hopefully that goes well. I know Brian Armstrong. I can't help but. I mean, I love Brian Armstrong and what he's doing for the crypto space, but damn it, when are they ever going to get real support? Like, I don't even use Coinbase anymore because the support is just terrible. In the number of people that would get their assets locked up for this or that or no reason at all. And then, I mean, just all the problems. I'm like, man, when your company is so big that you're more focused on the growth of your company rather than the customers you already have, that's a problem. So, you know, I appreciate everything he's doing because he's definitely putting his money where his mouth is. And he's definitely putting his mouth everywhere when it comes to fighting the way the old systems work. I mean, of course, it's great business for him as well. So it's not like he's just fighting for us. He's fighting for his own survival as one of the largest, you know, U.S. regulated exchanges out there. So, but this is big news. And we'll see what comes of it. Yeah, I get a little nervous. Now, this account correctly called Bitcoin's fall from all-time highs and is now calling for a 40% gain starting today. We're going to cover a lot of this. Bitcoin can dump anywhere between 20 and 77% by next pivot between November 19th and February 2nd. So this was a previous call. It would be ridiculous if Bitcoin only dumps 20 to 34%. Logically, it should be more than that, but smaller than 77%. Check, Bitcoin fell 40% between its October 6th and February 2nd today. Okay, so where to from here? Based on their yearly yield cycle analysis, the next pivot around February 2nd for a 40% move, which would put us at $104,000 between now and September. Now, I also want to add to this, if you watch Annie at Trade Travel Chill, she's been charting all of this. Okay. When I tell you guys that Annie to me is fairly prophetic, I swear, I've just never seen anybody do what Annie does. She's called a lot of this as well, but she calls it to her private group, to everyone that's in her Discord and a part of her training, like her trading course for the market maker method and all that. And she's so accurate that I feel like I need to create like a bot or something like that that alerts me every time she posts a chart or posts a video or something, because I need to be, I've been so caught up in all kinds of things. But anyway, she put out a video this morning. I suggest you guys watch it. It's on Trade Travel Chill on YouTube. And she basically says she thinks that we could very well be getting a reversal to the upside as well, but she doesn't think that we're going to break new all-time highs. She's not convinced of that. She says it's possible. Of course, anything is possible, but she doesn't necessarily see that playing out as a form of like a super cycle or something. So we'll see. However, all of this is lining up fairly well, including the PMI I showed you briefly a second ago. And we're going to get into that a bit. But ultimately, this is what we're looking at as far as the chart is concerned, a potential 40% move from today. And a lot of people are thinking that this may start playing out over the course of this month. So we're going to find out. Now might be a time to put in longs. Now, here's the other thing that I want to add to this. And this is why typically it's easier for me to write things down, because when I'm talking, I can get jumbled up, as we all know. I think the narrative associated with the crypto market and everything that's been going on has been very manipulated to a large extent. I believe that these institutions have been continuously lining up to enter their positions to bring the market down to a certain level, so that when this infrastructure bill hopefully does pass, that the market is lower than where we were, substantially lower than where we were previously. I think Bitcoin had a mini bull market, but overall, we've all been trapped in a bear market for a long time. I know we got those initial pumps. Cardano hit like a $1.30, and everybody thought that was just the beginning. We were all snowed. And then as the markets were going down, everyone out there in the crypto space was saying, oh my gosh, we're going to go higher. We're in a super cycle. I said it too. I'm guilty too. And because I really believe that. And because the charts, the data, everything was pointing to that as such. And we were all wrong. Here we are, where the numbers are lower. But if you look at this in comparison to 2021 and the two peak cycle, the time in between where we dropped, where we rose back up, where we did reach a new all-time high, which is what I think is absolutely possible, because we've been sitting here now trying to figure out if we're in a super cycle or if the 4-year cycle continues. I don't think that question has truly been answered yet, but I think that if everything happening right now directs us, I think we're going to get our answers pretty soon. One way or another, I do think that we could very likely be ready to go up. Now, I had and don't forget, you can win a free website at the link below. I'm using this because I really want to find all the people that need a new website, and I'm going to give away a really badass one. All right, so on my site, cryptocrow.io, somebody asked me in my Telegram community if this was my son because he's so much smaller than me. I saw it. I think he thought I was triggered somehow. I just got caught up with other things and I didn't acknowledge his joke. Oh, I see. I think he's in chat anyway, so we're good. But anyway, no, that's not my son. He's actually older than me. But this was an interview I did a while back, up close and personal or something. So anyway, if you've been watching the financial markets over the past week, you've probably felt a little bit of whiplash. Gold and silver, which had been on an absolute tear for months, suddenly crashed in historic fashion. So all the metal bugs out there that were talking about how volatile crypto is and how they don't want to touch it, now they got a taste of what we've seen and basically been living through for, almost a decade. The U.S. manufacturing sector just posted its strongest reading in nearly 4 years. Congress is actively negotiating a bill that could fundamentally change how banks interact with cryptocurrency. And through all of this, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano are sitting at a fascinating inflection point, waiting for a catalyst to push them decisively in one direction or the other. Let's break down what's actually happening, why it matters, and what it could mean for crypto prices as February unfolds. Remember, this article is on cryptocrow.io, so you can check it out in detail if you want. Let's see. Solana is sitting around $103, a steep decline from its January 2025 peak near almost $300, but it continues to attract developer attention and institutional curiosity. Blows my mind, but it is what it is. I will also say I watched a video recently with Rand Nooner that made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Truly, I don't know if I've ever, and I hear things behind the scenes. I hear all kinds of rumors and different things, and about people. There's another big YouTuber that always he just gives me the ick, and I hate saying that. Even my wife hates hearing it. But he's a really big, he's been on YouTube for a long time. I'm not going to name names. I heard a story from a friend of mine that had a direct encounter, I guess you could say, and just everything about the dude gives me extreme ick. He gives me an ick factor, and I won't say his name. Rand Nooner, on the other hand, is a really smart guy, but he's so shady in my opinion. Like he did a video recently about selling everything, but of course in the video he has to throw in, but you should be buying more Solana. And I'm just like, whoa. And one of the reasons why this blows my mind is because I have posted comments on some of his videos in the past where I'm sharing some of the exposed information related to Solana, you know, like the validator issues that they're having, the number of validators that are dropping like flies, like all the craziness associated with Solana. And he deleted he deletes my comments. So I'm like, they're definitely protecting a narrative related to Solana. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because maybe that team holds a bunch of Solana because they talk about it all the time. So they're big investors and they don't want anything to, you know, they don't want any heavy gusts of wind blowing that house of cards anywhere. Or if there's like a paid relationship, I have no idea. And I'm not claiming that that is the case. I really don't know. But when I see somebody basically telling their huge audience to sell everything and just buy Solana basically. And then then he got to Cardano and he made some snide, it was kind of like an under his breath, like bird flip to Cardano. And I'm just like, wow, dude, like, it just blows my mind how people can be that just shitty and smug and like, yeah. The thing of it is, the problem is that his team is smart and he's a smart guy. He's been at it a while. He knows how to structure messages. He knows exactly what the hell he's doing. That's what irks me so bad, because there are so many people that watch him, and I've seen him be wrong about so much shit, and then he just flips the script, goes the other direction, says the complete opposite, like nothing happened, and just people keep just gobbling it up. And I'm just like, wow, like none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. I still think that there's going to be an $8 ADA someday. Maybe I'm nuts. But you know, it's just like, I don't know, man. But anyway, Solana's down to $103. And on top of that, it's such an inflationary token. I mean, there's so many more tokens now than there were last year, the year before that. I don't know, man. I don't know why people are so gobbledygook over Solana outside of all of these like degenerate YouTubers that are constantly saying it's going to go to the moon and do this and that for them. I just don't understand it. Ethereum is trading around 2350, also well off its 2025 highs, near almost $5,000. But the network continues to evolve as the primary settlement layer for decentralized finance. Its layer 2 rollups Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK Sync, and Coinbase's Base are now processing millions of daily transactions at a fraction of the fees. That's actually a really good thing, man, because that was one of the biggest problems with Ethereum is the bottlenecking and just the exorbitant fees, man. I mean, it got to a point at one point where it would cost more in fees to send an amount of Ethereum that was worth less. Basically what you're trying to send cost more to send it than it was nuts. So yeah, that's insane. The broader theme across all four assets, I don't know, where did it mention Cardano? I don't know, maybe it was up here. Anyway, the broader theme across all four assets is the same. Institutional adoption is growing, real technology is being built, but prices remain well below previous highs. Bitcoin dominance sits near 59% still, which is it's where it's been hovering forever, which tells you that money is concentrating in the biggest, most liquid asset rather than spreading broadly into altcoins. This isn't a speculation-driven market right now. It's a market waiting for a direction. Exactly. And this is the point I'm making. The infrastructure bill, everything happening right now is going to come to a head. Once it comes to a head, I think major things are going to happen. And I don't think it's going to be a year or 2 years for that to take place. I think it's going to be relatively soon. Why did gold and silver crash so dramatically? The precious metal sell-off that rocked markets last week was one for the history books. Gold plummeted from a record high of about 5,500 per ounce to below $5,000 in a single trading session, its largest intraday decline since the early 1980s. Silver was even more dramatic, plunging as much as 36% in a day. Settling at levels not seen in weeks after having surged over 60% in the prior month alone. As of today, gold has continued sliding to around $4,400 and silver remains under heavy selling pressure. So what triggered this? Several things converged at once. The immediate catalyst was President Trump's nomination of Kevin Warsh as the next Federal Reserve chair, replacing Jerome Powell when his term expires in May. Warsh is widely viewed as a monetary policy hawk, someone who favors higher interest rates to control inflation. That nomination instantly strengthened the U.S. dollar and sent a clear signal to markets that the era of easy money might be ending. But my question is, why would Trump pick someone with this perspective when it's the polar opposite of what he's trying to accomplish? But that doesn't make any sense to me. I think there's more to that. A stronger dollar makes gold less attractive to international buyers, and higher rate expectations raise the opportunity cost of holding metals that don't pay interest or dividends. But the Warsh nomination was the match, not the gasoline. The real fuel was how crowded and leveraged the precious metals trade had become. Oh, man. Gold and silver had rallied relentlessly throughout late 2025 and into January of 26, driven by a perfect storm of geopolitical tension, the U.S. capture of Venezuelan President Maduro, threats involving Greenland and Iran, and concerns about the Fed's independence and rising government debt. Traders had piled in aggressively, and when the narrative shifted even slightly, the unwinding was brutal. Market structure amplified the damage. When volatility spiked, algorithmic traders and market makers pulled back, liquidity evaporated, and stop losses and margin calls triggered cascading forced selling. It's insane. The CME Group has since raised margin requirements on gold and silver futures, a move that reflects just how violent the sell-off was. This wasn't manipulation, as some social media voices have claimed. It was the inevitable correction of a trade that had become overextended, triggered by a genuine shift in monetary policy exceptions. All right, so what does the PMI of 52.6 mean, and why should crypto investors care? We're going to find out. Released today, the ISM Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index came in at 52.6% for January of 2026, and it caught nearly everyone off guard. Economists had expected a reading around 48.5%, which would have meant continued contraction. Instead, the manufacturing sector expanded for the first time in 12 months, following 26 straight months of contraction before that brief expansion in early 2025. For those unfamiliar with the PMI, here's what it tells you. The index is based on a monthly survey of manufacturing supply executives across the country. A reading above 50 means the manufacturing sector is expanding compared to the prior month. Below 50 means it's contracting. The further above or below 50, the stronger the signal. At 52.6%, not only is manufacturing growing again, but the ISM estimates that reading historically corresponds to annualized GDP growth of about 1.1%. The details underneath were even more encouraging. New orders surged to 57.1%, their highest level since February of 2022, suggesting factories are seeing a real pickup in demand. Production jumped to 55.9%. Even employment, while still technically in contraction at 48.1%, improved significantly from December's 44.8 reading. 5 of the largest 6 manufacturing industries recorded growth. So why does this matter for crypto? A strong manufacturing reading signals that the U.S. economy is more resilient than many feared. That's a double-edged sword for digital assets. On the positive side, economic strength supports risk appetite. When people feel confident about the economy, they're more willing to allocate money into higher risk investments like crypto. On the negative side, strong economic data gives the Federal Reserve less reason to cut rates, and lower rates have historically been one of the biggest tailwinds for crypto prices. The prices paid component of the PMI also ticked higher to 59%, suggesting inflation pressures haven't fully faded, which further complicates the rate cut picture. There's also a nuance worth noting. Some of the January strength may reflect pre-ordering ahead of expected tariff-related price increases rather than purely organic demand. ISM Chair Susan Spence specifically noted this in her comments. So, what does this mean for crypto? What do we think is going to happen in the crypto markets right now? The crypto and basically I had this article. I used AI to help me compile and write this article to give me something specific that I can point out A, B, C, D. These are all the different elements, which is why I'm reading it the way I am. This is my own concoction. I'm not reading this off of some other website. It's cryptocrow.io. And I'm going to start doing these on maybe a weekly basis to continue updating everyone on what's going on. The crypto, and at the end of this, we're going to get this could happen or that could happen, and we're going to see what. So we're going to break that down as well. The crypto market infrastructure bill and the battle with banks. I don't need to cover this so much. We already kind of know. 2 potential scenarios for crypto in February 2026. Scenario 1, the risk on rally. This is why I think so much of this stuff is coming together right now. It's pointing to this, but we'll see. In this scenario, the strong PMI data and improving economic fundamentals boost overall market confidence. Capital that fled precious metals during the gold and silver crash doesn't flow entirely back into metals or bonds. Some of it rotates into risk assets, including crypto. Bitcoin benefits first as the most liquid and institutionally accessible digital asset, potentially pushing back towards the $85,000 to $95,000 range. If progress on the market infrastructure bill generates positive headlines, even just a successful committee vote, which we just had recently, it could serve as a catalyst for Ethereum and Solana, which would benefit most from clearer regulatory frameworks. ETF inflows, which have been a steady source of demand, could accelerate if institutional allocators see the regulatory picture brightening. Ethereum could push towards 2,800 to 3,200, and Solana could retest up to 150 as traders position for its upcoming protocol trade upgrades. Even Cardano could see a relief bounce if DeFi development picks up and ETF speculation builds around ADA. Well, the reality is we already know there are I don't even know how many ETFs that are going to be including ADA in them, waiting for decisions, waiting to start kicking off. So we'll see. Scenario 2, the macro, and not only that, but there's so much stuff. There's stuff coming in this month with Cardano. There's a bunch of stuff happening. So we'll get to that when we get there. In this less optimistic scenario, the strong economic data and hawkish Fed leadership expectations combine to push rate expectations further out. The dollar continues strengthening on the Warsh nomination, and Treasury yields rise as investors price in tighter monetary policy for longer. Crypto, which has historically thrived in loose monetary environments, faces headwinds. Bitcoin struggles to break above the 80,000 level and could retest the lows of 70,000 if risk sentiment sours. The market infrastructure bill stalls or gets delayed further as banks successfully lobby against the stablecoin yield. I hate the word lobby. We should just call it what it is. the market infrastructure bill stalls or gets delayed further as banks successfully bribe against stablecoin yield provisions, creating regulatory uncertainty that keeps institutional capital on the sidelines. Altcoins like Solana and Cardano, which are more sensitive to speculative flows, could see sharper declines, potentially dropping another 15 to 25% from current levels. Ethereum holds up better due to its institutional profile and deflationary dynamics, but still drifts lower. So this is the pro and the con. We're either going up or down, but at least this is reasoning as to why. The bottom line, February 2026 is shaping up as a month where several major narratives collide. The precious metals crash has reshuffled capital flows. The PMI data suggests the economy is stronger than expected, which is broadly positive, but complicates the interest rate outlook. And the market infrastructure bill represents the biggest potential unlock for crypto adoption in years, even as it faces real political obstacles. So if you want to read the entire article, you can read that at cryptocrow.io. There's always good stuff that I'm pumping, and there's going to be more and more coming. So yeah, check that out. Bookmark the site. There's also tools and things you can use if you're a member. Yeah, I ultimately, I think that there's a lot of stuff happening. And, I don't think it necessarily has to be bad. I just think that, we need to pay attention as to what's going on in the world, and what's going on right now is pretty substantial. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, that's it. If you haven't clicked the link down below to enter to win a free website for your business, well, maybe you want to do that. Get your SEO audit. If you think you could make your site better yourself, well, this will give you all the information you need to do that. Yeah, ultimately, I'm going to be giving away a free website. Let's go ahead and if you need a website and you want to make sure you're getting a website done by me now rather than waiting, you can do that. Just hit me up. That's all you got to do. I don't know why my screen just went wonky. Let's see what happened here. I can't tell if my whole thing went wonky or I guess that did get out of whack. All right. Well, anyway, but yeah, that's Dirty Leopard. All right, let's take a look at chat and see what's been brewing. I'm going to scroll back to the beginning because I think there was some funny stuff going on. Gay for Crow, how you feeling? Crow, also gay for Crow, broke now, but still GFC. Still don't know if I need to clarify, not gay, just wanted to continue the love trend. That's okay. That's okay. I've been slowly accumulating Bitcoin, so I'm looking at these dips as great buying opportunities. They very well could potentially be. Let's go. Finally catching a live stream. Well, I'm glad you finally made one. I heard we're getting an emergency rate cut next month. Well, that's interesting, right? I don't know if that's going to happen, but I've seen Pompliano and a lot of other people saying we need like a 50 basis point cut, like immediately. Hell, if it happens, it could be the catalyst for what really starts taking us higher in February. So we'll just have to see. Is it time to accumulate ADA? I don't ever tell anybody what to buy. I'm definitely not a douchebag, so I'm not going to tell you to sell everything you've got and buy some Cardano. That's insane to me. That's like one of the most degenerate things I think I've ever seen a YouTuber say. But to each their own. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I've seen some of the best people that I like in TA and otherwise. I mean, people that I think do really good jobs at explaining things in an intelligent way. And a lot of these guys, they're like, they're almost like a little clique. I don't know what you'd call them, like the Solana squad or what, but they're these guys that they're very smart guys, but they make a lot of money, doing what they do. And, man, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, I wish that we had more integrity in the space. I do believe that. I wish we had more integrity in crypto, and we're still lacking. And, I feel like the bigger people get, the bigger channels get, the more pressure they have to do this and do that and to be a certain way. But that's why they're the big channels, and I'm still just a little old me with my little 150,000 subscribers because I'm like an old dude, and I don't do things like a lot of these other people do. I don't really I don't know. I just do what I do, and it is what it is. I don't know. But yeah, I think what sucks most about it is because I listen to Rand Nooner sometimes, And I'm like, some of the information he puts out is so good. And I'm like, man, why do you have to be so bad at the same time? But I don't know. People do what they have to pay their bills, I guess. And maybe that's why they make a lot more money than I do, because I don't have a lot of money anymore. So I'm kind of screwed. Maybe if I sold my soul a little bit here and there, maybe I'd make some more money. Any Solana advertisers? I'm kidding. Totally kidding. Yeah, I'm double fisting it with coffee and tea. It's not working out. You're broke, I'm broke, we're all broke. Yeah, it's like, you know, I definitely think that things are going to be turning around at some point, even if temporary, I don't know. But and at some point I'm going to go through the charts. I think I'm very much burnt out on the bullshit, because if there's anything that I've learned over the past year, is that none of these people, I don't give a shit who they are. I don't care if they're the biggest YouTubers. I don't care if they're the biggest fund managers. Every one of them's been wrong. None of them have been accurate about any damn thing they've said. So it's just like, you know, like I had this friend of mine who, you know, he always messages me with all of these theories of his that I know come from like the most recent YouTuber he watched. And he tells me what he thinks is going to happen with Cardano or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. And like all of it's been wrong. And it's just like, oh shit, you know, I bought at this price and now it's down to here. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, there isn't really a whole lot you can do. You can either sell it at a loss or you wait for things to recover. There's a lot of stuff happening. It's just going to take time. And so, you know, when I think about my life and I think about everything since 2017, I think of so many things I regret doing, so many decisions that I regret having made. And it was all like everything I've done has been with like complete honesty, like all of that. But it's like when I think about how many times we've moved, why did I buy this car? Why did I buy that car? You know, just all the things I was chasing and doing, thinking that everything was just a 4-year cycle. I know this, I got this on lock. I can rinse and repeat this. This is the way we're going to live from now on. Wrong. Wrong. Lesson learned. Thank you for that. You know, the world taught me a very valuable lesson. It's a very complicated situation, right? And we're all learning. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is going to continue the way it did before. Everything is going to change all the time. That's the way the world works. So, you know, it is what it is, man. We have to make the best of it. And I do believe wholeheartedly that, you know, as long as you continue learning and you continue growing and bettering yourself in new ways, like just what my wife said the other day, you know, I told her, it's like, I don't know what we're going to do. Like, I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to build websites again. I want to start getting back into mortgage coaching, helping mortgage branches grow and do that. And I was so good at that. And I'm still good at that. But I'm just like, I'm not sure what else to do. And she just said, well, you know, the world changes and everything's changing. Maybe crypto isn't where you make your next million or your like whatever you're going to accomplish. And I'm like, maybe it's not, maybe it is. I don't know. But I know that I can't sit around waiting for what I hope to happen. Right? It's like I have to be proactive. We all have to be proactive. If we're all sitting around waiting for the world to answer all of our financial problems, well, there's a good chance that it doesn't work out the way you plan. So we have to go back. I feel like crypto spoiled many of us in a lot of different ways, and it sucks. It spoiled us. But, you know, that's the way the world works. And I do think things are going to turn around and things are definitely going to get better. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take for things to turn around and what does it look like when it does? Probably not going to be the same market we're used to seeing, right? The way the ebbs and flows work, the volatility and all of that. I don't think it's going to be the same, especially after this infrastructure bill goes into effect, if it gets passed, which I still think it will. But you know, we'll see. I've left Twitter, so much nonsense on there. Everyone is clueless. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are clueless, man. We've all been caught up exposing our bias across the board, and all of it has been disproven. All of it. It's been disproven. So it is what it is. We just have to learn and adapt and continue pushing forward. That's really all we can do. Regardless of what happens, I do believe that we're going to see an expansion phase. Very likely we're going to see an expansion phase unlike anything we've seen in the past. And I do believe that a lot of the top assets are going to go like parabolic. I really do think that. I'm not 100% sure when, because if this was a bull market somehow, and that suddenly we're in a bear market and all we got was a little whimper in the altcoin space where only a fraction of those moved at all. And I don't buy that. I really don't think so. I think that was basically like, there's so much to it. I'm gonna have to cover it all in a video at some point. Hey Crow, World Mobile has legitimacy 100%. Yeah, I like World Mobile. And I'm seeing responses to other comments, but I can't see the original comment to comment on it. It's been to be honest, 4 years of torture if you held alts. Yeah, it's been brutal. It's definitely been brutal. We got to get rid of meme coins. 90% of crypto needs to go to zero. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I still think that anybody out there continuing to promote meme coins on any way, shape, or form is a fucking degenerate, period. I don't care if it gets you clicks. I don't care if it gets you views. You are playing a role in the destruction of not only the people that you're putting into these meme coins, trying to maintain that hype to get clicks and views, but there's just a lot wrong with that. Promoting meme coins. I have a meme coin. I don't promote it. I don't talk about it. I don't do anything with it. It's a fucking meme coin. I don't want people buying it. I'm not going to rug pull on them. I haven't sold a single meme coin since I launched the whole damn thing. I still have them. I could have sold them. At one point I could have dumped them all and made a bunch of money, made all my money. It cost me like 10 grand to launch that damn thing just because people for years have been like, when are you going to come out with your own coin? I just want some to hold it like a commemorative thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was like, okay, well, what can we use these coins for? There may be a day, if I'm ever rich, there's a day where I want to really build a lot of cool shit. I want to finish my Wargrim game. I want to use my Crow tokens for that. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do. I just don't have the means of doing it right now. So I'm not going to like pump my token just to like what? I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense to me. And it's just like so many of these meme tokens are created specifically to liquidate everyone that buys them. And then we have these YouTubers out there who, because it gets them their videos a lot of views and a lot of clicks, they're rolling with it. Like, yeah, man, let's do some meme coin content. That always got us a bunch of views and some ad money and some sponsors and bullshit like that. And it's just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. I'll build websites. I'm going to live an honest life. I'm not going to go around like pumping bullshit just to try and get whatever I want out of it. And anybody that does to me is just a total degenerate, and I'll unsubscribe. I do not want to hear what they have to say about anything because I know they're tilted, and I'm not dealing with that. I don't want it in my life or my view. Let's hope retail uses their tax returns to buy crypto assets. Cross his fingers. That's another side to this I haven't even thought about. All the people getting tax refunds and all of that while the markets are down so low, maybe that's what really starts sending things up in February. I don't know, but we'll see. I still think it's a bull market from 2025, resetting the narrative. I don't think anymore. I'm always wrong. I'm always right sometimes. Been using Gorilla Mind. It's helping my brain. I've never heard of it. Is that like Alpha Brain or something like that? Crow could eat that man for breakfast. LOL. I was just speaking of eating someone, I was offered a fight recently. And I guess I don't know. I guess there's some Major League Baseball player or something like that. And he's a big guy. I guess he's like 6'8", and I guess he's got an NFT collection or something, and I guess he was potentially looking for like an influencer fight or something, and I guess I came up because I'm the only guy big enough to fight the guy, and I'm like, I might be able to do it, but I'm not doing it for nothing. I'm like, I'm not fighting. If I were to fight again, it'd have to be a payday. Like, I need the money. I'm doing it for the money this time, not just because it's fun. So I don't know if it's going to work out. Apparently my friend sent him my karate combat fight video, and the guy was like, absolutely not. But then I guess he came back this morning. Maybe I had a message saying that he's interested, but he needs like, 6 months to train for it or something. So I don't know, man. I'm old shit. I don't know. And I know the dude's a lot younger than me. And that karate combat fight didn't show much of anything, so I don't know what to have the guy worried. I'm old shit. If it lasts longer than a minute, I gotta fucking take a nap. So like, I don't know. It could happen, I guess. We'll see if it does. The thing of it is like, if it were to happen, I would need to train. So, and I need to get into better shape. I'm 290 pounds right now, like as I sit, because I've actually started weightlifting and things. So I'm starting to get like a little bit bigger, right? And like you can't really tell, I guess, but I mean, I'm 290. I was 265 in that fight video, Karate Combat. So, I mean, my belly's still here. That's not going any damn where right now. But, I've been in the gym every day, just doing a lot of like upper body stuff, some leg stuff. And then I do bag work. And so that's it. So I don't know, but I'm not in fight shape at all. I don't know what the hell. So I don't know. We'll see. But I guess it is a possibility. Maybe it comes up. But I need like MMA rules or something. I'm not going to do a boxing match. I'm just not doing that. I'm not going to go in there and slug it out for however long with these big ass gloves. It's either going to be like a karate combat event, or some sort of MMA event. That's it. Like, I'm not going to do a boxing match. I'm too old for that shit. So growing a beard here, waiting for my $8 ADA. Yeah, I know. Me too. Right now, Bybit officially exchanger have a bug. It exchanges Bitcoin to ETH almost at 10x rate. I don't know if that's real or not. I'm still learning a lot about OpenClaw bot. I just shut mine down again. I'm still learning. It's like, if you're not using Opus 4.5, it's kind of half stupid. And so it's like, man, I'm trying to figure out like the best local model I can use to run Clawbot. And nobody's real specific about anything. A lot of these YouTube, it's the same shit as like the automation guys. Look at all this stuff you can do. Join my school and I'll teach you how. And it's like, man, fuck you. Like, whatever happened to just actually giving real value on YouTube? I get it, especially nowadays. Like I'm trying to figure out ways to be more valuable and actually generate some more of a revenue stream. But yeah, I mean, it's like nobody's really explaining anything on these YouTube videos. So they act like they are, and they're explaining a lot without explaining it. It's hard to explain. I need to figure out like what's the best local LLM. I've tried running it on Olama. And I was running the 70B, the 70 billion parameter model, but it's just not as intuitive or smart as Opus 4.5. But I don't really want to spend $5,000 a month running and even if you have like a max account, they won't let you run it through that. They make you do it through an API because they milk you more for like API token costs and things. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe it'll just take some time. This guy, Kevin O'Leary, is the new Jim Cramer. This guy is so freaking annoying. Listen, Crow, you have nothing to prove to anyone. Be there for your family. Put the big man fighting challenges aside. It's not about that. It's legitimately like, if there's a way I can make like 20 grand, 30 grand, something like that for a fight, I'm down. Like, it's it. Like, it's just, it's one of those things where I need to make cash. I need to make money so that I don't have to sell any of my assets, especially down. Like, my assets are officially down lower than I ever paid for them when I was accumulating in the last bear market. All right. So, it's like, I think my average entry price was like 33 cents or something. So here we are. And, so it's like, I'm down to take a fight if it makes sense, but it's got to be a payday. I'm not doing it for nothing. So Anyway, on that note, make sure you click the link below. And if you've got a business website, you need a website, let me know. I'll build a badass website for you. Generally, websites run between $3 to $5 grand. The more complicated websites with the most features and things get up to around $5 grand, which is still dirt cheap for a badass website. Let's be real about it. I mean, I'm doing websites for $5 grand that a lot of companies would charge 20 grand for. So, but somebody on Valentine's Day is going to win a free website. So hit the like button if you don't mind. And I definitely need to get better about not just reading, but responding to comments below after the video's done being live and people post comments. I need to get on that and start doing that more because I know it helps the videos grow, but also it's just nice to get responded to when you post in my comments, especially when you know that I've read them. So I'm going to be getting better about that, guys. And if you have questions or anything about anything, just leave a comment below. And especially if you can answer any questions I've asked in the video, that's always helpful. I like that a lot. So until next time, guys, thanks for joining me. Crow your coins, and I'll see you again soon. Probably tomorrow.